What's up? What's up, Alex Sports Show fam, and welcome to another episode of the Alex Show with your host, Alec Padoo. Today's show, I know I was supposed to start at noon, but I had last minute something come up last minute, or we're starting a little bit early today. Today's show will consist of college basketball upset picks, college three-team parlay for college football, and NBA picks, and my thoughts on the trade the Rays made a couple weeks ago to dump Tyler Glasnow. Let's get right into it. Here is my prediction for the Ohio State bowl game, Cotton Bowl tonight between Ohio State and Missouri. Let's get started. So here I've split this into the Cotton Bowl predictions for Ohio State and Missouri. I have Ohio State's in a Google slide, and then I have Missouri's written down on a piece of paper. Here's the Ohio State side first. So, if you don't already know, Devin Brown is the starter for Ohio State tonight in their bowl game against Missouri. I think Devin Brown has a breakout game that leads into next year, and him maybe being named the starter in the offseason for Ohio State. I think he throws for 350 yards and 6 total touchdowns, 5 passing, 1 rushing. And Trevion Henderson rushes for 99 yards and a touchdown and has 60 receiving yards. Now, here's the wide receivers I think get the brunt of the targets. So, Ncaa goes for 96 yards and a touchdown, receiving 96 receiving yards and one receiving touchdown. Carnell Tate, ladies and gentlemen, I talked about this before the season started. I said, keep your eye on Ohio State freshman wide receiver, Carnell Tate. And the reason I said that is because I knew he was going to get playing time eventually. And here's his playing time in the bowl game. I think he pops off and goes for 100 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. And another freshman, Brandon Ennis. I think he goes 87 yards, receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. So that means 4, 5, and then the 6th touchdown, I forgot to put it on here, is a rushing touchdown by Devin Brown. So that adds up to 6. So you had 2 receiving touchdowns for Carnell Tate, 2 for Brandon Ennis, 1 from Ibuka. And now let's go to the defense. So the Buckeye defense, I think they show out tonight. And you'll see what I think the final score will be here in a minute. But I think Jack Sawyer has 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 4 TFLs, 4 QB pressures. JTT or JT Tuimalau, 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 3 QB pressures. Tyleik Williams, who is playing in the bowl game, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 QB pressures. Denzel, I've coined him the nickname Denzel Lockdown Burke because you very rarely see teams throw at him. He will have 4 PBUs, an interception, 10 tackles, 6 TFLs. And here's the Ohio State defensive stats. 11. I think Ohio State ends up getting 11 sacks because Missouri's offensive line is subpar. And I think they end up with 11 sacks, 4 interceptions, because Missouri's going to have to throw the ball a lot to keep up with Ohio State. 11 TFLs, 15 PBUs, two block field goals, and maybe a block punt on top of that. So now let's get to Missouri. I think Brady Cook throws for 2 touchdowns and throws for 108 yards, goes for 108 yards passing and 2 touchdowns with an interception. Cody Schrader, 74 yards rushing, 36 receiving. Luther Burden. And I think if my memory is correct, I think Ohio State will put Denzel Burke on Luther Burden. I am almost 90% positive they're going to put Burke on Luther Burden because that is Missouri's top receiver. And Luther Burden goes for 68 yards and a touchdown, and I think Ohio State ends up winning 55-14. Now let's get on to the last part of this. I have a 3-team parlay for college football. 2 of the picks are today, and one is, I believe, on New Year's Day. So the first leg of the parlay is Ohio State minus 4.5. So this point spread it's fluctuated between going from Ohio State was an underdog, and then now when they had McCord, they were favored. Then McCord entered the portal, and they became an underdog. And then when Devin Brown was started, they went back to being favored. It was 3.5 to start this week. And now it's going to close probably around 4.5, 4. I would take Ohio State minus 4.5 or minus 4, whatever site you're betting on, to cover the spread and win against Missouri. Leg number 2, and I like this. I have Memphis winning this game against Iowa State. I like Memphis plus 10.5 to cover and win versus Iowa State. I like this leg a lot. And leg number 3 of this parlay is Toledo plus 3.5 to cover and win versus Wyoming in their bowl game, which I believe is either tomorrow or on Monday, because there is no bowl games on Sunday. But like I said, I like Toledo here to cover plus 3.5 and win. And I would put $5 down on this 3-team parlay. That is the most I would go. Because if you get one leg of the parlay wrong, you lose that money. And now what we're going to do here is we're going to go over the trade the Rays made a couple weeks ago. And it was they traded Tyler Glasnow and Manuel Margot to the Dodgers for Ryan Pepio and Johnny DeLuca. Personally, I wasn't surprised that it's in the Rays' MO that they get somebody good. Like they fleeced the Pirates for Meadows and Glasnow. And then they traded Meadows to the Tigers for Paredes, and that's another fleece. But I'll get into that trade another day. But I'm not surprised again that they traded Glasnow, because I saw the writing on the wall for that coming. And I wasn't surprised who they traded up to, because they have previous ties with the GM of the Dodgers. Now, I was kind of surprised Margot was involved in the trade, because I thought it would have been Brandon Lau. I know I dog on Brandon Lau all the time, but there's good reason for that. And it's because he is super inconsistent when it comes to hitting. He's a really good second baseman now. And I think the Dodgers need second base. But obviously, they don't think they do. That's what they went for Margot, who's going to be a backup outfielder for them. Now, let's look at the Rays side. They got Ryan Pipio, who's going to slide right into that rotation and be an innings eater. It's still going to be a good rotation because you're going to get Shane Boss back. You're going to get McClanahan back at some point. Jeffrey Springs. And overall, I give this trade a B plus for the Rays. Now, let's get to our college basketball upset picks. So my first upset for college basketball tonight is Stetson +3 to upset Charlotte. I've picked Stetson before and they've let me down. And I keep saying it's the last time I pick them, but I keep going back and picking them. I need to stop picking a Stetson. This is the final time I will be picking them. If they let me down today, I'm done. No more picking Stetson. I hope they pull the upside here. I want them to, but I don't know if it'll happen. Number 2, Washington State +6.5 to upset Utah. Now this one I think can actually happen. Because watching Washington State this year in basketball, they actually look really good. I think they can pull this upset. Arizona State +6.5. +6 to upset Stanford. Now, you can look at this in more ways than one and say, why are you picking against Stanford? Stanford is not particularly that good in basketball. And I like Arizona State +6 here to pull the upset. And now, here are my cover picks for college basketball tonight. My first one is South Florida -15 to cover against Alabama State. South Florida is 3-2-1 so far. No, 3-1 so far when I've picked them to cover or upset. And I think they can cover here against Alabama State. Next one, Gonzaga -6.5 to cover against San Diego State. I think Gonzaga is good. Don't bear in mind where I have them in my rankings. They are still a really good team, and I think they're capable of covering this point spread. And in number 3, North Florida. I have picked them 5 times now. They're 3-2 when I picked them to cover. I think they cover against Miami of Florida here, +22. Don't be surprised if they cover, because they've done it before. And the last segment, here's my NBA upset picks for today. I've got the Spurs +5.5 to upset the Portland Trail Blazers. I like the Spurs in this game. I think the Spurs can pull the upset here. The Blazers have a lot of injuries. Shaedon Sharpe is out. And they have a few other guys that are out injured. Matisse Thybulle. That's why I like the Spurs here to pull the upset. My next one is the OKC Thunder +3 to upset the Denver Nuggets. Now, if you would have asked me to pick against the Nuggets last year, I wouldn't have. But I like how OKC's been playing this year. I really do. I think they're a sneaky team that you don't want to see in the playoffs. And that's not an understatement. That's saying a lot. Mark Daigneault has OKC playing really well, and I think they can pull the upset here. Now, my last upset is the Houston Rockets +2 to upset the 76ers. Now, can this one happen? Yes. Do I think it does? No. That's why it's the last one on the upset slate for NBA. I do like how the Rockets, I know they don't have a good record, but I like how they've improved and played this year under their head coach. I think it might be Wes Unseld Jr. or Willie Green. No, I think it's Will Hardy is the head coach in Houston. I think I might be wrong. If I am, you can correct me in the comments down below of this video. But I like the Rockets here to pull the upset. And ladies and gentlemen, I will have my merch back up at some point today. Don't worry, you will be able to buy merch. T-shirts, chains, whatever you need, whatever you want, you will be able to purchase it today. I just have to finish resetting up the store. But if you've enjoyed the video so far, please leave a thumbs up. Let's try to get this video to 10 likes. And if you're also enjoying the video, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. And don't forget to like I said, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment and turn on notifications so you don't miss a future upload. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That'll do it for me today. I will see y'all back here on Tuesday of next week because Monday is New Year's Day. So have a happy New Year. And we will see you in 2024 from the Alec Padoo, from the Alec Sports Show, signing off for the last time in 2023.